be live in just a second, folks. Please hang tight. We're getting some posts out, getting some folks rolling in, and then we're gonna be in Tinkercad doing some live toy design. Be right there. Hi, welcome to the chat, Encrypted Cryptid. All right, folks, we're getting ready to go live here. Let's go ahead. Let's make it official. Let's swap on over to the live feed view here. How we doing, folks? Welcome in, welcome aboard. Making sure we got everything working the way we want it here. All right, looking good to me. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's gonna. Hey, Adam NX67 throwing the Kongs in the chat right off the bat. See, I'm just checking a couple tech settings real quick while we get rolling here. We are going to be doing some toy design here in Tinkercad, and boy, it's going to be an interesting one here because my setup is still set up for gaming, but we will find a way. We're going to make this work. It's tight quarters here in the old Von Vicious Studios. but that's never stopped us in the past. Certainly won't stop us today. All right. I think we're looking good. Why is it darker in this room than usual? What's going on? Okay. All right. We're going to be okay. So we are opening up Tinkercad here. And so I had a couple things we could do for projects today. We talked about potentially doing something like we talked about potentially doing a snow plow that could attach to a truck with maybe like the sanding buckets in the back of the truck. We talked about making an attachment for the toy monster trucks, turn it into a ride truck. I wanna real quick. I'm gonna pull up some reference images because I think the ride truck is an interesting concept because they're so unique and there's so many different styles. Um, you see a lot of different versions of this, right? Let's go ahead and bring it on in here. There's all kinds of versions. We got these guys, this sort of the bus style. We see those. That's sort of what the Gravedigger ride truck kind of looks like. We get a very it's a very made to order kind of thing. Very unique, very cool. We get things like this where they take an existing truck and they sort of build a rack and seats into the back of it. And like the Megalodon one is sort of a hybrid of the two ideas. And you get some of these old school ones like this that are more classic old trucks that are ride monster trucks. Yeah, there's a good image of one. And I think that's probably what we're gonna do is something close to that. Here's Identity Theft, which I drove. Last not this past summer, but the summer prior, so almost 2 years ago. Gonna have to get up to All Star Monster Trucks in Maine again. Shout out my buddy Chuck Plumley, who's the announcer there, recognized me, brought me in, and had me driving one of these things. Very cool experience. And I think we kind of want to go with something like this. Now they do have toys that they've made of these, and let's go ahead and there we go. There. They do have toys that they've made of these, like this, where you see they've got that sort of the roll bar with some padding on it and the truck seats. I think something like that is kind of going to be our guide. They have made toys. Now, this is very cool. The 2-pack of Gravedigger and Megalodon's ride truck. Very cool. But I think something along the lines of like, yeah, Monster Machines has their version with Reptoid's ride truck. Hot Wheels has their versions. There's Monster Jam has the BKT one. Everyone sort of has their version of a ride truck. Ride trucks to me, they were very unique when I was young. You didn't see them very often, but they've become a quintessential part of the experience of going to a monster truck show, especially if you got little kids with you. They got to go on the ride, and even if you don't have little kids with you, it's fun. Like it's legit. Like it's a cool time. One unique thing that you'll notice is they do change the design models for these. This is of course, a single cab truck, so that there's more room for seats. Most of the Hot Wheels and Monster Jam pickups that you'll see are double cab, and there's a bunch of reasons for that. Most of which revolve around the style of the roll cage that they have on modern monster trucks. Let's see. Adam X67 says they should have ride trucks race each other at least once. I agree. I think, and they're, I know on some like small like fair shows, if the ride truck is, equipped enough to go over a set of cars, because often they're not. Often they're very basic. You even see on the Blue Thunder ride truck, they went with the old school leafer frame on it. Um, if they are equipped, they will take them over the cars sometimes as like a round one truck if they don't have a lot of trucks on hand. So it's not unheard of. For those of you hanging out and following along in the chat down there, I will say do not forget we have our two major bit alerts. Nightbot just shared it there. 2,500 bits, you get karaoke. I will stop the stream and karaoke a song. For 3,000 bits, you get a mystery box, 3 toys from my collection, and 3 trading cards from my collection sent to you. So do not forget those. So this is what we're taking the inspiration from. So step one, you'll remember we did the camper last time. Step one, we're going to go ahead and we're in Tinkercad, tinkercad.com. It is a free resource with 3D design, off and circuit design. It's got a bunch of very cool elements. It's primarily meant to help teach children. Um, let's see. Adam NX67 says remake the Awesome Kong chases a robber video, but make Awesome Kong a ride truck. Have stunt doubles as the people riding along. Yeah, it's just crash test dummies, and then on the close-ups we have actors sitting there. The old spaghetti western. That's right, folks. Iced coffee at a little after 8 o'clock on a weekday night. That's how we roll here on the Perry stream here on twitch.tv/Perry Von Vicious. Thank you for joining. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you as well. Please subscribe. Those numbers always rising. Really appreciate all the support. So we're going to hop into the project here, and I'm going to show you in the camera, nice and up close here. I have a truck that I picked out for this, and it was hard to pick because I had a couple good options. And really what it came down to was the shape of the bed of the truck. I went with, I believe these are both Road Champs. Oh no, one's Road Runner and the other one is Road Champs. These are the two that I had as potential vehicles. Oh, we got green screen happening because this has bright yellow tires. Hang on, hang on. I'm gonna get rid of the green screen for just a second. Just a second while we while we do this. Hang on. All right, that should do it. So to give you the view here real quick, there's this one, which is from the old Roadrunners line in the 80s, 90s. And what I like about this one, a really low stance, which you'll see in a lot of the ride trucks. Very basic, kind of chunky looking, also pretty common among ride trucks. It's got a long back bed, which gives us a lot of space to play in. Now, and it is a flat, empty back bed, which I really like. The only downside is it's a shallow bed, so we don't have a lot of room for anything to sort of sink down in place. Alternatively, I have this Road Champs truck, which is a slightly taller stance to it. But a very short back bed, so it's not a ton of room to play with, but it's a deep back bed, so there's a little more room to build with there. And I think what I've decided is that this one, because of that deep back bed, that's gonna be our ride truck because we need leg room for the little seats that are gonna go back there. And when I get to designing the snowplow and the salt bucket, we're going to use this one for that. It does say 24-hour towing on the design, and I think that aligns really nicely with a snow removal vehicle. So with that, we can resume the cool artsy background, and we can hop back into our design work here. If you were thinking of popping a toy, you just got 2 for free. So just something to think about. All right. So that said, this is what we're going to be working with, and I'm going to be using, for those who have tuned in before, you will be very familiar with this. My old pals, the digital micrometer, also sometimes called digital calipers, has a nice, you'll see it on screen here. Let me get the reflection off it. A nice, very clear readout in millimeters down to the 100th of a millimeter, very small, to tell me how wide, deep, or narrow something is. And we're going to use that to get our measurements out of the back bed of this truck here. Again, the yellow is playing with the green screen a bit, but you get the idea of what I'm showing you. we're going to get those measurements, and that's what we're starting with here. We're going to build some seats first, and then we're going to build a little roll cage, and that's going to give us a whole setup for this. And I think we can turn. Essentially, I mean, the axles are bent. This whole truck is a little beat up and banged up from, it's an OG. It's what year is stamped on the bottom of this? 1987. This came out when I was 3 years old. Um, so easily turned into something cool, unique, and new, and pretty common. That old school square body kind of tall stance. That's what often gets turned into a ride truck for monster trucks. So that's what we're going to run with. So the first thing we need to do is we need to drop a box in here, and we're going to sort of design a negative of the bottom of this. So I'm going to do it from one of these. I don't like that view. I like that view much better. All right. And so for this, I'm literally just going to design the exact shape of the inside of the bed of this truck. So let's go ahead and grab those measurements. And you'll see that I do get a little bit fast and loose with the numbers that I use. And that's because I want the piece I print to fit easily in there. And 3D printers are not always terribly exacting in the size and shape of what they make. In particular, resin printers aren't known for great dimensional accuracy. And I will be using a resin printer because there's some very small parts that are printing here, and I want them to have a lot of detail. So that I'm getting 23.9 millimeters as an interior size there. We are going to round that down to like 22.7 maybe, I would call it. Because like I said, I want, you know what, we're gonna call it 22.9. No, you know what, we're gonna go even lower. We're gonna 22.5 because I want this to have a little wiggle room. Because I can glue it in place. I can use a little bit of double stick tape to put it in place so that it doesn't move. But what I can't do is use glue or tape to make it fit where it doesn't fit. So we have to make that work. All right. Now I'm getting the length of this. You can see how this works. There's interior measurers and exterior measurers, and I'm getting that interior measurement here, which is showing as 26.29. Once again, we are going to call that 26.5 or 25.5. We're going to go a little bit smaller on it because I trust that. All right, so. This is our view. These are the rear and front. So we're actually gonna turn this 90 degrees here so that we have the front of the bed, the back of the bed, and the two sides. All right, and now the depth of this bed, and this is where it's gonna get really interesting because we're gonna have to account for the depth on this as well as two little wheel wells. I don't know if those will shoot. Yeah, you can sort of see them on camera there. There's even with the green screen messing with it. There's these little wheel wells that stick in. We have to account for those because those are not going to be removed. We're not altering this original piece at all. So for our depth, and this is pretty cool. You'll see on the bottom of this piece here, I'm just glancing at the camera to make sure it works. There is a little piece that comes out, and that is the depth where I can sink that down in here and know how deep the back is. Pretty cool that this tool does all that in one. So 5.63, we're going to call that like 5 point, yeah, we'll call it 5.6. Height, I'm not as worried about getting exact. I would rather have it be too shallow than too tall. So if that was coming up as 5.76, we're going to call that 5.5. Okay, so that is the back bed, roughly. Um, and we want to make sure that we don't fill in where those parts are. And now I'm just trying to think, how do I want to do that exactly? Let's go ahead and make this a solid. And I think what we're going to do is actually hollow out the entire inner corner there, maybe just to the height of these wheel wells. And you'll see what I'm talking about. So let's see, the wheel well height is 3.33. And again, I'd rather the opening here be a little bit big, if anything. So I'm gonna make a copy of this, change that height to 3.5, because I think that's safe. It was 3.3, so that should be good. You know what? We're gonna just because we're gonna make it 3.75. Always better to have a little bit of extra wiggle room. Like genuinely, I think we're gonna be better off for that. All right, I'm gonna cut to the front here, and now I need to make this a little bit longer on each end. And then I want it to just, we're gonna have to zoom way in on this to make sure we get it right. There we go. And I think we gotta drop down our, there we go. Okay, and that's just about, they're just about touching there. Yeah, I think that has them touching. So now I want that to go in. Those appear to my eye to be around 4 millimeters. We're going to call it 5 because it doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt to cover a little extra ground there. I call that. Oh, you know what? There's a 5 millimeter setting. Let's see. Boom. That should do it. All right. That's good. Now, why is that sunk down? I don't think that's supposed to have happened. I don't recall doing that. All right. And now we are going to Control D that guy. Bring it all the way over, and then to go boom. Now we're going to turn that one and that one into negatives. Good, that's looking good. And I'm actually going to, whoa, hey now. Getting a little excited there. All right, I'm going to shrink that on in. Do the same thing on this side. Whoa. All right, and then, I do I want to round the edges on this maybe. Maybe. Oh, actually, you know what? You know what might work? Okay, this is giving me a good idea. So what we're going to do is we are going to group these just to get our shape, right? At this point, we're almost roughing this out. I've got a pretty good feeling on what I want to do here. I think what I want is for the top of these to essentially be the top of the seat and this to be the front of the seat. And we'll have a little bit of like floor space here. We might even get rid of most of the center there. Because now we're to the part, what we just designed essentially is some of the only measuring we should have to do on this because it's the only part we needed to be exact. That should fit right down in the back of this now. And it'll be just proud of the upper lip, but it'll still be confined within the truck bed. I feel good about that. Hey, Cody Brooks rolling in. Nickabean's rolling in. Sorry, guys, I've been distracted staring off at the stream here. Very enthralled in my design. For those just joining, I'll pull up a reference image of what we're making. We are making a monster truck ride truck add-on for a 1980s monster truck toy that I have. Uh, because they didn't do these back when. What on earth? Oh my God, why would this happen? Oh my God, that's so embarrassing. Okay, hang on. For some reason, oh, Google Chrome, you're so embarrassing. Google Chrome has reset my browser to Yahoo somehow, and I am mortified at that. That is not why I have Google Chrome, Google. Unbelievable, embarrassing. Truck, ride, truck. I'm going to bring some reference images in for the folks who've just rolled in. I know Cody definitely is aware of these. I know Adam NX67 is very aware of these. Um, but for my friends who are maybe a little bit less deep in the realm of monster truck fandom, I want to get a couple of reference pictures in here just so we have that way we have them. That's a Arrested Development reference for everybody. That way you have them. That way we're ready, you know? So let's see. Yeah, I think we'll go with that one as our reference image there. Yeah, those are good sized images. Okay, so we're making a monster truck ride truck add-on. What's that mean? This is a monster truck ride truck. It is essentially a very simple monster truck, usually on a leafer frame, so an old school monster truck. And in the back, they have outfitted it with some seats and seat belts and some safety mechanisms, usually with some padding, like you see here. There's often some stairs that fold up or slide up to attach to it. And it's so you can give fans a ride around the track in a monster truck. They don't go over cars, they don't go over jumps or anything, generally speaking. Um, but they will cruise around the track, and sometimes they'll sort of do like a little almost a donut, not really sliding the tires, but taking a nice sharp turn with the four-wheel steer, enough to make it exciting. Um, so that's what the real thing looks like. The toys of them, I think, are very cool because they're a fairly recent thing. And this is a good example of that. This is from the Monster Machines line. This is the Reptoid ride truck, and you see they've got the little roll bar in the back. They've got the little seats molded in. I think it's a very cool thing and something that's very doable for us. So that said, what I've started on here, what I've gotten rolling on for us, I've done the boring part so far. I have taken this truck, which is going to look a little bit strange in the green screen. I've taken this old truck, this old 1987 Road Champs, and you see the back bed. There's a wheel well sticking up on each end, and it's got only so much room in it. So what I've done in Tinkercad here is I have mapped out and designed that inner space. The wheel well will squeeze under here, and this top edge will fit inside that truck bed pretty comfortably, I believe. So now what I need to do, we're going to open up a little space in it. We're going to design our little seats. Now, I could design the like nice safety racing seats that they use these days. I kind of want to do the like bucket seat kind of gimmick like they used to have in ride trucks. The first monster truck ride truck I ever went on would have been 2003, 2004, something like that. When I took my girlfriend at the time and a bunch of our friends and my girlfriend's kid brother. She had a kid brother who was like 10 and loved monster trucks. Took him out to West Lebanon. We went to Lebanon Valley Speedway for Monster Jam. And Monster Jam didn't tour with a ride truck at the time, but Lebanon Valley had their own ride truck. And it was essentially an old leaf spring monster truck with like tractor tires on it and bench seats in the back, and it would just drive a loop slowly around around the big like racetrack, the big oval track. Um, the kid loved it, and that's kind of amazing, right? Like that's kind of the best case scenario is, the little kid who's along for the ride loves it. That's what you want. All right. So I do want to open this up just a little bit here. So we're going to get an overhead view, top view, bring it up center. I want to drop a cube in here. We are going to, okay, first I'm going to change my snap grid way down. I want more control here. We're going to take it to like, somewhere like there maybe. We're going to take the side view here. No, side view, I said. And we're going to sort of similarly come back to about there. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. And then we'll do a similar thing here. And we're going to bring this in. Let's get that front view. Try to make it even-ish to the other side. It doesn't have to be totally exact because we're gonna hack this up a bit yet. Now we're gonna lower this down so it goes all the way through. And once I do that, I'm trying to think, do I want to do a little bit more? Yeah, I do. I want a little bit more. So we're gonna control D that. We're gonna raise it up a fair bit, and now we're gonna make this one go all the way out the front and back like that. That's kind of what I'm looking for, is a piece shaped roughly like that. And I believe when we do our little cut here, it's going to make it even better. So everybody hold your breath. Here we go. I believe this is going to be the exact shape I'm trying for. We're going to go ahead and, yeah, that's what I want. Very nice. Okay. So what I've done here is I've given us openings where I'm using parts of the truck that already exist to our advantage. And again, with the green screen, I don't know how well this is going to show. But in the back, this truck bed has a really nice, it's got that sort of that like ribbed ridges that kind of go inside of a truck bed. And I want those to show through, and they're the same paint color as the rest of the truck. So it's continuity. So we're not just hiding a chunk of the old piece with what we make. You'll still see it. And I think that'll help to sell the idea that this add-on that we're making for it is supposed to be there. It won't, of course, exactly look like it's supposed to be there, but it'll kind of look like it's supposed to be there. And I think that's good enough. Again, we're selling the idea that this is supposed to be how this toy looks. And I think it's gonna read that way, which is very exciting because again, they didn't make ride trucks in the era this toy is from. So we're making something new and exciting. Now let's see. I kind of want a piece that's going to go out. How do I want to do this? Okay. So we want to turn these into like bench seats. We want to turn them into something that's sort of like, boy, I could do them as cushiony, right? I could make them bucket seats. Or we could make them look like the old wood, like sort of bleacher seats that would get added in. Nika Beans with the emotes. Thank you, Nika Beans. Um, And I think we're gonna go with the cushiony look. It's a little bit easier to make it happen, and that's gonna be important. So to do that, I'm going to bring in another cube because we have to make our own special mask for this shape. Um, is that how I want to do this? Yeah, that is how I want to do this. Okay. We want to make our own special mask for this shape, and it's going to take a few minutes of finagling with different pieces. We're also going to bring in a sphere. And what I want to do is yeah, we're going to have to double up and then sort of round it, I think. We might get away. I'm thinking out loud because there's a lot of ways that this can be done, and I'm drinking coffee at 8:30 at night. So that'll get me a little bit rambly. Okay. Yeah, that's okay. I can see it now. It's all coming to me now. All right. We're also going to bring in we're bringing in a lot of basic shapes that we don't always mess with on here, but I want to mess with these shapes and make this cool and different. We're going to take a few techniques we've not done here before. So we're going to pop that down 90 degrees. We are going to stretch this way out. Lovely. And now I want to make our little cutout shape here. So I'm actually going to grab both of these. Oh, interesting. Okay. I've got a thing where I have two keyboards in front of me. So I'm doing all kinds of stuff that makes absolutely no sense. Thank you all once again for tuning into my monster truck toy making stream. Something I'm really passionate about, for better or for worse. Yeah, there's worse hobbies one could have, I suppose. All right. And this is going to end up being pretty small when we're done with it. But for now, no, hey, there we go. I'll make that bigger. And we're going to do sort of this move where I'm going to, yep, bring it on over, stretch that on up, bring it back now. Let's get a dead on front view is kind of what we're after here. Make that taller. Actually, we're gonna bring that down like that because I just want the straight 90. So that's all we need. Okay. We're gonna shrink that in as well. Perfect. Okay. So now this becomes a negative. These two become grouped. And then this becomes a negative. And that's going to be our mask to get our reshape here. So what do I mean by that? First thing we're going to do, we're going to stretch this nice and long. Get us a front view here. We're going to bring it over to like somewhere close to there. We're going to bring it up to like there. We do need to shrink this down. So we're going to shrink it down to where I think it needs to be. Bring it on up. Stretch it way out again. Let's get that front view because we don't need this to be huge, you know? Yeah, that's getting pretty close. There's auto zoom in on the piece. Why did it zoom way out? No one told it to do that. Okay. That's looking pretty good. Get our front view. Yeah, now we're getting about where I want to be. I'm gonna have to reduce our snap settings. Want to keep things very very exacting here. Let's see. How's the snap there? Okay. That's about as close as we need it to be, really. Like we can do this move to get it even closer. There. That's pretty good. Whoa. Okay. Let's go ahead and no. Just run it all the way up there. And then we're going to copy this and we're going to do it to both sides because that's sort of going to be the name of the game here. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. I can shrink that down a fair bit. Encrypted with some of the old emotes. We got them flying here. We have fun here on the channel. Control D. We're gonna bring it on over. We're going to mirror it. If I can find the correct space to mirror it. That's it. Boom. Get that front view. And now we're gonna just nudge it on in till it seems about right. Again, it doesn't have to be exact. And we're gonna go ahead and group that. Now our seats have a nice rounded edge. That worked out well. Happy with that. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is, I think, boy, do I even want to, I might even want to open, no, because there's a wheel wells there. We want to hide that. I was thinking like, oh, maybe I want to open that up, but I don't. I want to keep that as is. I think we're gonna sort of cushion the top to like right here, and that'll be it. That'll be where the cushions go. Yeah, and I think I have a pretty slick way to handle that. Get a look here. You know what? I know exactly what I want to do. We're going to lose the sphere for a second. And with this, I'm going to do a little bit of ungrouping because I want to change the order that I do all this in. Okay, so now I can come back and I can tell it this and this and this and this can be grouped. Group. Then this and this and this. Did it bother selecting them? No, of course it didn't. All right, try that again. This and this and this can all be grouped. Great. This is now going to be a negative, and with this we will group that. Boom. Okay, because I want to do these last, and you'll see why in a minute. Again, when you're doing this kind of design work, this is sort of it's sort of what in sculpting you would call subtractive sculpting. We're mostly finding a shape and then taking stuff away. That's as true with 3D modeling digitally as it is with sculpting with clay even. Subtractive modeling is infinitely easier when you are doing what they call hard edge modeling, which is what we're doing here. It's not anything that's going to be organic shaped. We're not trying to make it look like a person. We're trying to make it look like machine parts, essentially. All right. That's my rant on sculpting. And a lot of people will see what I'm doing here and they don't necessarily see the art in it because it's digital. And I understand that. Um, I think it is wrong-headed. I think it's incorrect. I think that exactly what I'm doing here is absolutely making art. And it might not be the kind of art that everyone wants to make, but it's certainly the kind that I want to make. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make our cushions up here. And the way I want to do that, we're going to do it with a sphere. And gotta make it pretty narrow. And we're going to raise it way up to like about there. And we're going to shrink it on down. And if we bring it back, I think this will just about give us what we're after here as our sort of cushion shape. We might even go more narrow. Oh yeah, we're going more narrow for sure. More narrow and probably a little bit less tall. We can raise it up, but I don't want it to be, yeah. Yeah, like that's pretty good. So now what I'm gonna do with that, we are gonna have to put backs on this, like chair backs. So maybe I should do that at the same time. Yeah, I think that's the move. All right, so we're gonna Control D that, and we are going to rotate 90 degrees, raise it up to like here, and then back it up till it looks right to my eye. Again, this is like you get to eyeball this now. This is the part where people might see it more as art because it's being eyeballed. We are going to add a little back onto this, probably at about this height coming back. So this is okay to be a little awkward right now, in terms of its depth and everything. So I'm going to make it a little bit thinner because it's going to be supported. I think to right there is pretty good. All right, and now comes kind of the fun part where we're gonna get to do one of the nice things about digital sculpting as opposed to sculpting with your hands is you do get to just replicate parts very quickly. Now, some people who do physical sculpting with their hands absolutely do that kind of thing. They will make a mold and then either by heating clay so it's very soft or even runny. If they're using wax to sculpt, they can melt it till it's liquid and pour it into a mold, and they can replicate parts that way. What I do, I select the two parts I want. In this program, you hit Control D, And now I'm going to come over just until this looks the way that cushions would look. Just kind of pressed into each other like that. And now I can go all the way down the line with that. I can go boom, 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 all the way down till we get our seats. And now, because I want them kind of even in the back here, you know what? I'm even going to say we're going to do one less than that. We're going to go boom like that. And now what we could do is we could say, you know, hey, four of these is like one old school car seat. Let's take those four, put them there. We'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, leave that one. We'll delete this one maybe. Boom. And then we'll go these four and kind of get it close to even to how the other one was. Then we'll get rid of this one. Boom. And then maybe get rid of the one right on the end here. Boom. And maybe we call that like our 4 seats. You know, you can take 8 people on a ride at a time. Maybe that's the look. Yeah, I think that might work. Yeah, I think that's going to be the look. We're going to go with a cushy old school car seat kind of vibe. Because again, I don't want this to be like, I don't want to say I don't want it to be good because that's not accurate. We don't want it to seem like, you know, the way you would think of the like fancy modern seats. We want it to be a little ugly. Okay. So now I'm thinking this is where the back bed comes up. So just above that is where we can have all this work out. So maybe we lift all this and stretch this up just a hair, just for sanity's sake. So let's get the view here. We're going to select all of those, but deselect that. We're going to bring it up just a little bit, just to like there. Now we're going, I see that, Nicobeans. Give me one moment. Don't you worry. I will listen to the popular vote here. I believe in a free and fair democracy, and when the people say hydrate, by God, you gotta hydrate. Because I have been drinking the coffee all night, but just in case someone redeemed it, I came prepared. Yes, it is my magic green screen water bottle. That's some high quality H2O. Invisible water. You can tell it's real clean water here in Deerfield. It's just crystal. See right through it. Okay. I think that is looking pretty good. And you know what I even want to do? Oh, this is me getting fancy now. I'm going to take just the center ones on each of these seats. We're going to make them just a little bit taller, just a little to give that sort of like old school headrest vibe. Yeah. That's got a very like crappy old school seat look. Now we're going to back this basically like it was a piece of wood. So we're going to bring in a square here, back way out. And let's just go ahead and get the old side view. Zoom in a fair bit here. We're going to bring this over and just line it up most of the way. It doesn't have to be exact yet. We're still just fussing around with this. We got a lot of leeway here. I think that's pretty close. We may end up readjusting that. So now we want to take it way in, like we're talking to like here somewhere. Let's go back to this left view here, like so. I'm gonna raise it up and then sink it down just a little because we want it to go into that top piece there. We may actually end up making this a little bit thicker. We'll see. Let's get that back view, and we'll go at least to there. I'm gonna Now this we're gonna bring down to like here. I literally want it to look like this is sort of thrown together. Hey, hey, Hero Botic. Welcome in, bud. Boy, now that we got a fair bit of the potential folks who might want to hang out for the potential Monster Jam in Worcester event that had been discussed, I got to talk to you guys about that because there is a complication. So that weekend, they have shows at Monster Jam Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Sunday is my wife's birthday, so I'm probably not going to Monster Jam that day. Uh, Saturday, I am booked to wrestle way out in Eastern Mass, and I'm riding with Johnny Torres, and he is unsure whether he can swing doing both if we did the early show. I believe the early show would have us out at 2. We have a 3 o'clock call time way out in Eastern Mass, but we'd only be coming from Worcester, so it might be doable, but he is very apprehensive. And I totally understand that. I don't blame him at all for that. I'm not throwing him under the bus or anything. Um, there is a Friday show, but oh, hey, Diz. Welcome in. There is a Friday show, but the complication there is that there's no pit party, which means we can't get pictures with the trucks. And that to me is kind of a deal breaker. So it's very complicated. All right, I want to bring this back to like there. And if we're doing that, let's see, how do I like that? We can probably back these up a little bit, I think. Yeah, let's go ahead and select those. We're just gonna back them up just a scotch, just so they sink into that piece there. Okay, that's looking pretty good. What if the wrestling show books a monster truck sumo match? Timeline wise, it would fit very well. The show in question is Rad Pro Wrestling, which I think I made a command for. Let's see. Yeah, Rad Pro Wrestling is running that day. That'll be the 9th of May. And they are a period piece. They take place in a very specific year. Hey, hey, hi, May, welcome in. They take place, I believe they just entered 1997. So timeline-wise, a Monster Truck Sumo match does make sense. That's when WCW would have done it. So, oh, Diz is having a special Monday and Tuesday stream next week. Yeah, that's exciting. What are you gonna stream? You got big plans? All right, I'm gonna copy this whole shebang because I do like how it's come out here. Control D. And then we're going to give it the old flip ski, like so. And then ba 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 ba. Bring it right back to the edge. Oh, I love how that works out. Yeah, right like so. Ah, very nice. Oh, God. Love it when a plan comes together. All right, so we're making really good progress. This is coming together like kind of shockingly fast. We may have time to design a snowplow for one of these trucks, which is my backup if we need to. But we do have a complicated part still left. Um, I want to build the protective roll cage that goes over the back. Let's get another look at what that looks like. Let me get caught up on the chat here. Uh, haven't decided what you're playing. No worries there. 1997, quick. We got to warn Princess Diana. Um, it's the only thing I kind of remember from 97 besides Montreal and Austin getting dropped on his head. Uh, yeah, I don't know. All of the late 90s is kind of a blur to me. It was middle school for me, and I think the less I remember middle school, the better. Um, Ace prosecutor instead of ace attorney. Oh, interesting. The old fish heads. God, I love coffee. All right. So we're doing pretty good. I think this is a really solid start. So what we need to do now is we need to design our roll cage. And the way that's going to work, I think we actually have to shrink a lot of this in because I need a little bit of purchase for the cage to come up and out of this. That's a great word, by the way. Uh, saying that you need a little purchase on something. Really, really useful term. I stole it from Adam Savage. All right, so I'm going to pick all those parts. We're going to get our overhead view here. And I just want to shrink this in so that I've got a little bit of wiggle room on the ends to put in our roll cage. Because, safety first. I think that looks pretty good. Yep, Diz out there fighting the good fight. Absolutely. Eat 'em up. Whoa. Oh, Nickabean's redeeming show a toy. I heard the alert go off. All right, so I showed a couple earlier. I'm gonna real quick kill the green screen while I do this because it messes with everything. I showed a couple earlier. We're going to revisit them real quick. So this one doesn't count, obviously. This is the one that we're currently working on an extra part for. This is a 1987 Road Champs monster truck, very generic, nice little square front end, some good chrome on there, sort of a different tire tread than I see on a lot of the trucks. Sort of a little like hooking tread. But it does have, you can sort of see the cab in there, and I do like the design on the back. That's what we're designing this piece for. Um, my backup to that, the truck that we're going to turn into a snowplow monster truck, is this one. This is a Roadrunner series, a lesser known truck, also with a different tread, sort of a flat, straight tread. You never really see that. And a very low stance and a very long back bed. I'd considered this for the ride truck as well, but I think that the back bed on this is going to work well for a sanding bucket. And the front gives us a lot of area to work on for a place to attach a snowplow that can go in front of these wheels. Those are sort of the project vehicles at the moment, but that's not what you asked to see. You asked to see a random toy. As long as Dizzy Hellfire's here, I know she's a fan. I believe everyone here is a fan. I know Herobotic is a big fan. In fact, Herobotic was with me when I bought this. I got the Whoa, whoa, Dizzy Hellfire popping showing a toy. I'm gonna be running around grabbing toys all the time. Oh, Jaime, you should totally go. It's such a good. If you do go, you got to get the pit pass, so you can walk down, take your picture with the monster trucks. Oh yeah, yeah. Sparkle Smash. I've played as that truck in the video game. That truck's gonna be in Worcester too at the show I'm supposed to go to, and I've never seen it in person. I really want to see it. But the toy I'm showing, this is the Aquabats Little Bat Guy Stress Ball. It is the toy of the Aquabats logo, their little bat guy, and it is such a kind of perfect toy. The legs are posable, and it is a squish ball. I've had this since maybe 2006, 2005. It's gone with me everywhere. It's sat on the shelves in offices where I've worked. And I do believe Herobotic was with me when I bought this. But I snagged that earlier, knowing that someone was going to pop a show a toy alert. Um, so thank you for that. Dizzy Hellfire popped one as well. So we are getting multiple toys here. This is something a fan sent me. This is going to be a future project as well, and I got to pull up some photos to reference it. So the little cousin to the world of monster trucks is the world of mega trucks. And the most famous among them is King Sling. This is a truck driven by. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Everyone's popping, show a toy, and hydrate. Holy cow! Okay, hang on, everybody. We're It's okay because I'm about to show two. Thank you, Adam NX67. You guys, I'm gonna have to get up and take a pee break. Everyone keeps popping these. All right, so chief among them is King Sling, a great little mega truck. That also has a monster truck version, built by Dennis Anderson, driven by Dennis Anderson, famously of Gravedigger. Um, yeah, let's pulling up reference images. Of course, I opened the thumbnail. Why wouldn't I? Maybe they're all thumbnails. I don't know. Okay, this is the King Sling Mega Truck. It's on the little swamper tires, right? But also he has a monster truck version of it. They also have a truck called the Bog Hog, which only exists as a mega truck, no monster truck version. Mega trucks really are like just a very slightly smaller version of a monster truck with little skinny swamper tires. They released a two-pack of Bog Hog and King Sling, sort of reimagined as monster trucks, from the Monster Jam series. It's gonna have it's not open yet, so it's gonna have a little bit of glare on it. Um, but a fan sent me these on the assumption that what I will do, and it is in fact what I will do, I'm going to open this. We're going to take these apart to take these axles and tires off, even though they are great. They're a great design on those. And I'm going to 3D print our own mega truck tires to put on there so that we have an accurate representation of this truck and of the Bog Hog mega truck, which I think is a very cool project. All right. All right. We got a little off track because everyone was popping stuff left and right. Um, but thank you so much. Thanks everyone for being in and being interactive. I appreciate it. Um, don't forget we do have if anyone's feeling generous, we do have all of our alerts. You can make fun stuff play on stream. And if you're really in the market, we have the big alerts where you can spend some big bucks and either get karaoke where I will sing a song on stream. Oh, I love UHF. Um, was there no audio again? Again, there was no audio? Are we kidding? Okay, yeah, I had the desktop audio muted. Hang on, I'll set it off for you. I got you. I got you. I'm not going to let that alert come and go without us hearing it. There we go.
You can't give up. You gotta stand right up. You gotta run to a window and say, "Hey, these floors are dirty as hell, and I'm not gonna take it anymore."
Bits flying left and right. Thank you all. I appreciate it. So we're back now from our UHF break. Where we are working on this ride truck, and I think that we are off to a very strong start here. We need to build, as discussed earlier, we need to build the roll cage that exists on these. This is our reference image. They put a roll cage around these to keep everyone safe. Not a bad idea. Foldster, I'm just lurking until I fall asleep. Hey, if this can help someone get to sleep, I'm happy to do it. Um, and yeah, let me before I turn the green screen back on, because I'm going to turn the green screen back on. This is the truck that we're designing this to go in. So when you look at the design that we have currently, if I can get this out of the way, this opening under here that's going to be made by these negative spaces is to account for those little wheel wells that are in there. Otherwise, this square, this area that you see here, is more or less just a tiny bit smaller than the interior of this truck bed. So it'll all fit inside there very nicely. Perry becomes an ASMR channel. Yeah, I think there's always been a little bit of an ASMR element to what I do. The sort of calm talking. I often find myself able to fall asleep to like Adam Savage tutorials because he speaks in a very calm way. He's very knowledgeable and isn't afraid to. He doesn't dumb his material down. He uses the big words. Um, so yeah, that roll cage is what we're working on next. And once again, this is it is common in the toys of these ride trucks. This is an example that I pulled up earlier, and you can see the roll cage is on there. So I don't see any reason that we wouldn't include it in our version as well. Perry, didn't you have questions for Foldster about programming? Not currently and off the top of my head, but I will keep some in mind. And I know Foldster's going to enjoy the maker streams when we have him here, so Foldster will be a frequent visitor, I'm sure. Already they've been here many times, so I appreciate it. It's very cool to have you on board. Always happy to have new folks rolling in. All right, so if we're going to make our roll cage, to me, the piece to use for it is a shape that we don't even see here. It's not a hidden shape; it's just one they don't bother listing, and it is the pipe shape. I've used this on stream before. It's incredibly useful because you can alter it. You can change this angle. You can change the lead outs and lead ins. The first thing I do is I bump the wall thickness all the way up so that it's a solid piece. I'm going to, whoa, hey now. We want to not do that. I'm going to go ahead and shrink it down uniformly because what I just did was silly. And now we'll go ahead and zoom in on it a bit. And I think I actually want to put it up in place and just see how I like it for scale. You know what I mean? Again, this is we talk about how there's elements of engineering in what I'm doing here and elements of like, an art project. It's a little of both. So let's go ahead and get an above view here. I want to bring it in. I want to bring it back. Yeah, to like right there. That's great. And essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to build like half or a quarter of this roll cage, and then we're going to, from there, we will copy and paste it around until we have the completed roll cage. I may go back in and add the pieces so that it looks like there's the cushion that they have on the roll cages. We'll see. It might not be totally necessary. Again, this is going to print very, very small. These pieces are going to be really little. So the details are not always visible. But as I learned when I printed that camper that we built, sometimes they are. Sometimes the details are really visible. All right. So what I want to do is we want to raise this up to about our working height. We want it to be somewhere like here, I think, is where we want this angle to hit. And now we got to figure out our lead in and our lead out. So which one's which? There we go. That's the lead in, and we want it to go all the way down until it connects. That's perfect. And now I can have it go this way. I think I'm actually going to turn it so it goes in, up and over like that, and we'll have everything connect on the inside. I think that would look pretty cool. So let's get a top-down view here. We're going to rotate, you know, like a 45. I think is going to be about perfect. Yeah. And now we have to reposition ourselves here. Just get it so that it's coming out of that corner there. That's good. And we want it to go up. So let's mess about with our angle a little bit here. Ah, there we go. That's what we're looking for. I'm thinking, whoa, hey now. Is that really what it thinks I'm doing? Okay, all right, all right. Everybody be cool. I'm thinking we want to be somewhere around like that. Let's let it catch up because it doesn't know what it's doing yet. That might end up being too tall, but well, because it's not going to go all the way in. Okay, this is going to be okay. Again, you guys are hearing all of the like real-time thought process. So we got our lead in. We want our lead out length to go a little bit more. Let's see what that does. Yeah, okay. That might be kind of perfect. Get a get a little view here. Yeah, and this will come over and it'll match one here. Okay, yep. So that's going to be our corner piece, and we're going to reuse that 3 times. So let's go ahead and bring it down here to where we can see. We're going to Control D. We're going to rotate it like so. Then we're going to bring it way up till it's similarly placed to the other one. Yeah, we're gonna something like that. Doesn't have to be exact. I don't want it to overlap with that chair if I can help it. But that might, yeah, I think that's about perfect. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, we're gonna click off that. We're gonna select both. We're gonna Control D again. We're also gonna mirror it, this time this way. And we're gonna bring it back to, yeah, actually that's pretty, that looks pretty darn close to me. Yeah, I think that's what we want. Yeah, I'm liking that. I think that looks good. And now we're going to connect these. And I don't think I'm going to do it using more pipes. I think I'm actually going to do it because I could, and it would give us sort of a rounded edge, but I don't think it's really going to matter. Um, so I think we're going to do that with cylinders. So let's go ahead and pull in a cylinder. Does this tell me our diameter here? No, of course not. All right, well, that's okay. All right, I'm going to bring the sides way up on it. Then I want to rotate it a quick 90. I'm going to make it super long because I'm going to shrink it way down and I don't want to lose it. Okay, that's pretty close. So let's go ahead and zoom way in, zoom way out. Make it longer, shrink it down more. Okay, now we're going to move it up in place just so we can get a look and make sure that it's going to look how we want it to look. Let's go ahead and kind of get it about lined up. This is if we were building a real ride truck, this is where we'd be using like forklifts and a bunch of our friends to come help us. Thankfully, I only design in the digital realm and I don't have to do a bunch of welding. And so, wow, I actually got the length on that really close. Huh. All right. Let's zoom in. There we go. So I think we want to go a little bit smaller on this. Like somewhere about there is looking pretty good. kind of overlap just a little. Bring this one back just a little. Yeah, and I think that's going to give us what we need for now. Yep, I think that's looking good. I'm going to Control D. We're going to put it over in its place here. Something right about like that. Maybe, yeah, maybe just a hair more. A hair less. Yeah, let's go there. All right, and now we're gonna copy that one. Get ourselves a better view here, and we are going to go 90 with that. Bring it on down till it's about where we want it here. Something like there, and then, yeah, something about like there. And let's just see, how's that looking? Do we have a bunch of ugly overlaps we don't want? Actually, that looks really smooth. Okay. All right, we're cooking now. I'm going to copy that as well. Bring it on over. Just a little bit more is going to put us about where we want to be. And again, this doesn't have to be perfect because this piece is going to be pretty small when all is said and done. Okay, that looks good. Now that's a very basic roll cage. I think we might, maybe we want like a cross member on one end here. Let's pull up our reference picture and see what it says. Maybe I could be overcomplicating it. I could be undercomplicating it for all I know. Let's see. Where's our reference picture? Okay, so on the toy, they have gone with the method of a very simple cage like what I've just designed, and they've kind of done some indents to indicate padding up there. I like simple. Simple reads like toy, and that's the goal here. Um, on the real piece, it is a little bit more complicated where they have some sort of cross pieces. I don't know that we really need to deal with that very much. I think we might be okay the way it is. Let's see, and how do we feel on the height on it? I think we could probably bring it down some. I think it might be a little tall. So let's go ahead and just shrink it on down till it feels right. I think that looks pretty good. Yeah, I feel good about that. Now the question is, do we do like the little pad look? Do we try to get like some padding onto some of these pieces? I think I'd probably just stick with the center pieces for that, sort of like what they did on that the toy we just looked at. Or do we go real simple and just keep it as the bars? Again, it's a small toy. It might not be super easy to tell if we go to all that extra trouble. Um, just for the heck of it, let's try one. You know what? I can go simpler than that. Let's let's see. Nicobene says keep it simple, and I'm generally inclined to agree. I do want to try it just for the sake of I like, designing is fun to me, so I kind of just want to try and see what we do here. So if I take this piece and I make it a bit thicker, and then let's sort of center it on there. Well, we might even go a little bit thicker than that, something closer to like that. And then if we go like that, then we bring it in on the bar a little bit, and then we bevel the edges down. So that's got a little bit of a hard edge to it, but we can soften that, I'm sure. Yeah, it might read correctly if we do it. Let's go ahead and increase the bevel a bit more. Yeah, I think that softens our edge a little. And now if we really wanted, what we could do So we could make a copy. We can come over like that, and then we can go boom. And now we've got sort of the three pads for one side. And maybe that's all it takes to make that little padding look. Yeah, I stand corrected. This looks cool. I'm inclined to agree. And generally speaking, I'm very much a make it as simple as you can kind of guy with toys. I think toys don't need to be overcomplicated, but I think this is looking very promising. Yeah, and now we got it matching, which I think looks cool. Do we do them on this side or do we just leave it? I mean, we could try to go up along these or like do one on these corners, which is a little bit complicated because it's at an angle. Not undoable, but a little bit complicated. I think let me look at some toy examples. The toy, when in doubt, look and see what works on a toy. And yeah, I'm gonna drag this into frame here so we can just start from here. So let's take a look at the Monster Jam one. They have the interior piece here. Wow, we'll pull that up as a reference. And let's see, I know they have a Gravedigger one. There he is, which looks an awful lot like the thing I drove, and I love it. And we're gonna make one of those at some point too, because when I drove Identity Theft's ride truck, it's very much this stretched out sort of school bus style. Um, but yeah, let's zoom in on this. Yeah, we can see there they've got the corner bits. Their seats are really little. I don't like the size of their seats. And they've got the pad on there. So that's something to consider. If we get a closer look at the Gravedigger one, they haven't done any of the articulation for padding that I can see, but it is sort of all hidden inside of this body, which this is a very cool toy. Like I think, and I love that they went with the old flotation style tires on here. I think this will probably end up in my collection at some point. All the Monster Jam ride trucks are so expensive on eBay, so it'll be a long time before I add these to the collection. They're very expensive. One of the reasons I want to do my own. Still waiting for them to release a Gravedigger 2. Man, Gravedigger 2 is the best of the Gravediggers, 100% in my opinion. Um, and then there's the Hot Wheels version of this. Has its own look. There's the Bigfoot, and then there's a Haul Y'all is kind of the one that people have seen in stores. I saw one of these in stores and didn't bother getting it. Ooh, there's a good close up. Thank you, internet. Yeah, that's pretty telling. Look at that. All right, so they've actually done a very similar thing to me. They've got a similar shape on the chairs. They've done the racing chairs, so they've got the sort of indent there. They went with the padding here, and they did one piece of pad up the sides. I think we kind of got it, right? The idea on that padding is that you don't want someone knocking their head. So we gotta put padding there too, I think. Yeah, I think we gotta. What a great image that is. That's a great little bit of reference material. And this image, this nice close up with all this, that's going to be something that I use later when we design, because we got to make a version of the truck that I drove, the identity theft ride truck. We 100% have to make our own version of that. Um, yeah, all right. Let me get all those out of the way here. And we will come back into our design, which, now sitting back and looking at it, I'm still really happy with this. I do think I have an idea on how I can make it even better, though. Something I just saw in one of theirs gave me an idea. I think I'm just going to test it on these. If this were to squish back a little, like it's a very slight change, but I think it matters. I think. Yeah, if that squishes back and maybe if these center ones squish down just a hair. Yeah, I think that actually looks better as a seat. So we're gonna undo those changes because we want to do them all uniformly. So that means I'm gonna do a fair bit of careful selection here. And those are currently 2.6. And we're gonna bring them back to, let's call it like there. We'll call it 2.0 because we're gonna have to repeat it on the other side. And then let's select just these middle cushions here. Again, I'm getting real nitty gritty because I can. And we're just going to bring it down to like, yeah, just that 2.7. So 2.7 and close to 2.0 is what we're looking for. So let's hit that other side. You know, pretty good point that I heard someone make once when they simply said, "Why would you do something if you weren't going to do it right?" Hard to argue that. I believe it was Zay Frank quoting his stepfather when he really half-assed some chores he was given. And we're going to go to about a 2.7 here. All right. Yeah, I do think that that looks cool. I think that that looks pretty all right. Yeah, I think that helps. All right, let me catch up on the chat here. Here's here's the deal. I'll keep an eye out for any ride trucks around here. If I see them, I'll pick it up and send it out to you. Oh, hell yeah. I mean, similarly, I am very open. Maybe we make a bit alert amount for this. I'm very open. If you find monster truck or Hot Wheels toys that you see that you desperately want turned into a retro style or even modern style monster truck, I can size my stuff to be like modern Monster Jam size. If you see something like that that you really want, get in touch with me. You can send it to me and we can work something out. I will make it. I will rip it apart and I will make the pieces like we do here for ours. And I think that that would be a lot of fun to occasionally do just like fan projects. All right, so like I said, we want to do a piece of padding here. I think we leave this bar bare. Maybe the back bar gets the padding because the back bar is where people climb in and duck under. You don't want them to hit their heads. Although I guess maybe you pad everything. Yeah, we'll pad everything. Why not? I think we just go for it. So let's control D. Let's pop it 90 degrees. Let's get our top view here. And let's more or less center it here. We might have to shrink it a little. Yeah, we're gonna shrink it in a little bit because I think that's a bit much. I think making it slightly different sized from the other ones also, there's something cool to that that makes it feel like a special part. You know, not everything needs to look totally copied from other pieces. Okay, that's good. And then we're going to control D. Whoa, hey now. We're going to reselect them. That's an important step because it repeats all of your rotations and everything. Control D and have to scroll up a little, but we're going to pop it on up here. That looks really good. Oh boy, a part of me was dreading this project because you never know how hard or easy it's going to be. And I'm thrilled with how this is coming together. We're about an hour and a half deep in the stream, and I think we're going to have a finished product that I can send to the printer. And who knows? Next week's workshop stream, we might be painting this and painting the camper piece that we built for that other truck. Dizzy says, I'll keep an eye out at the thrift stores and can send you cars and trucks to mod. Absolutely, please do. And in particular, boy, I'm going to vent while we do this next piece here. I'm going to vent. I got a lot of things in my mind, and you're going to hear about one of them, people. It's not any of your fault, but you're all about to hear about it. Listen, I don't understand why When I'm at every store now and I look in the diecast cars section, there are no trucks. It is all cars, and they are all weird neon nightmares. Everything looks like a fake car that would have been in like, I don't know, Tron or something. And like, I like Tron. That's cool. But like, why is everything that? It's just horrific. Like, none of it's good. And like, I don't know, maybe kids just want a fast toy that looks a certain, weird way, but like not one truck in an entire store? Like they're just like Hot Wheels just stopped making pickup trucks for some reason? Is that like, can that be right? Okay, yeah, we're gonna need to do some finagling to get the angle just right on this, but we will figure it out. Let's get our top view here. Bring it in. Okay, so it looks like that back end needs to come up. And to do that, I would probably need to do that a little and possibly a different angle. Yeah, probably this one just a hair. Oh, hey, what did I just do? Okay, okay. Control Z. That's not what we're doing. We're doing this. Okay, I think that's just about got it. Let's get our view here. Rotate it on around. Okay. It's definitely got to come down. I think it's got to be a little bit smaller too, because these pipes were a little bit thinner. Oh, maybe yeah, maybe it's okay. Whoa, hey now. Every so often I move a part without looking at it carefully and really almost ruin everything. All right, let's just make it a little bit smaller. And we'll kind of do like, yeah, we'll bring it up a little. Let's bring it back here just till it's out on all sides. Oh, we can give it a little bit more. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. We're looking on the bottom. Okay, that's our piece. That's the one. Boom. And I only want to do one there, just the one. So we're going to Control D. We're going to mirror that bad boy. We're going to move it over onto this one. Just till it feels right, which I think is going to be about there. Let's get our top view now. Oh yeah, yeah, this is coming together. Now we're going to get both of those, mirror them, and repeatable. We're going to bring it right on up here. Yeah, that's looking that's looking good. Okay. So I think with that we've just about got our ride truck. Yeah, I'm feeling good about this. So what I want to do now, I want to do a little recoloring, and then I want to bring another truck in here to kind of make this all look finished. So first I want to, oh, we got to group the whole thing. So it's going to be a little tough to recolor everything. So, okay, I've discovered one thing that needs to change. So we're going to bring that up to like there. And then we're going to bring it down about one. Yeah, like that. Because we got a piece sticking out the bottom. Like the yellow on the padding on the roll cage. We'll try to keep that part colored the way it is. I have to group everything, which makes it hard to do individual colors. Um, that's okay. Actually, you know what? I don't have to group everything necessarily. No, I guess I do. All right, we're going to group the whole thing, and it's going to make some magic happen here because we're going to get these little cutouts on the bottom. It's going to take it a second because we got a lot of pieces coming together. I do feel good about how this looks, though. This is very cool. When we paint it up, I think we will paint the pads a slightly different color from everything else. I don't see any harm in that. Let's see. If I find an extra ugly car, I'll ask for the Perry special. What would Frank Grimes on Simpsons do before he died tied to his car? Yeah, anyone who finds like pickup truck bodies out somewhere, that's really the thing that I'm looking for because that's what looks good as a monster truck in my opinion. I showed this on stream before. This nice old Dodge V series, which we are going to turn into a monster truck and it's going to look totally sick. Those headlights, that grill, it's going to look awesome. So that's really the kind of thing that I look for. Similarly, I found this Matchbox body some time ago. Beautiful little gold Chevy with a lot of detail, a nice old school truck bed on there, old school cab. So we took that off to turn it into a monster truck, and we're gonna size that up and do it as well. All right. Well, that's thinking things through. In a fresh Tinkercad tab, we're gonna go and we're gonna pull up one of my trucks because I do want to get the thumbnail image, and you're all gonna hang with me while we do that, and then, folks, for those who haven't been here, I really hope Herobotic hasn't said anything in the chat for a while. I do hope he is still here. Uh, we are once again going to raid Mega 64, who are doing the room again. It has been the best. I've been watching it all day when I'm working. One of the true joys in life is the Mega 64 gang. All right, let's find our truck. I know we had all the parts for something like this. Well, you know what we'll do is yeah, we'll let that finish. That's still grouping. And one of these is a truck because we took a picture before. Just got to figure out which one. It might have been in the camper file from when we made the camper the other week. We had thrown a monster truck in here for a picture. No, I must have taken it out of here. Well, that's okay. That's all right. Camper still looks good though. Let's see. You know what? We'll go ahead and we'll steal a little bit from this one. You can see all the little bits that went into making this when I made it. This is a different chassis style, different wheel style that I had been just kind of messing around with. Oh, awesome. Herobotic is still there. Herobotic, I don't know if you've been Ooh, I even have the back empty here. Interesting. All right. I don't know if you've been following the Mega 64 gang this week, but it's been quite the week. Heck of a time to be a Mega 64 fan. We're eating good. Yeah, I think we'll drop the thing in here. So what I want to do is we'll take this. Wonder if I can just ungroup that and if it'll give me the opening in that back. Okay, I don't think it's going to do exactly what I want. Oh, maybe it will. Whoa, hey now. That's not what I wanted. Okay, we're letting Tinkercad muck about and be silly here. Okay, we got to do it again, I guess. Wow. A lot of steps here. That's what I needed. We're going to lose that part. And now we're going to regroup this whole thing. Deselect the chassis part because I know I don't want that grouped. That's good enough. It's not perfect, but it'll do. Oh yeah, that's right. I remember this now. Perry Von Vicious on the back. Haha. Very cool. All right. We are going to bring this up and give it a truck bed because it doesn't have one already. I'm going to bring it way up and really kind of fill the space in here. We'll stop just shy like that. Just shy like that. Again, you guys are watching how the how the magic happens because I'm just making this up as I go purely for the sake of a thumbnail. I think that should do the trick. Group that. Let that sit and think about what it's done. There we go. Look at that. Beautiful. We got our truck with the bed. Looking very nice. I think we can go with a lighter color on that. It'll give us a little more detail. Maybe like a blue. Yeah, that looks pretty good. This is still thinking. Come on, man. All right. Well, that's still thinking, apparently. Let's check out the chat, see what I've missed. Absolutely nothing. Fantastic. I am very quick. Oh, what? Just installed UFO 50 on the Steam Deck. Let's go. So I'm going to be distracted by that for the near future. That rules. Oh, Herobotic, remind me, I got to ask you about helping me out with something. And I've been forgetting for about a week and a half, I've known. And that's not good because I should be trying to give you as much heads up as I can. But before we jump, because we are eventually going to, let's just go ahead and I'm going to copy this and just see if it'll work. Let's just see if we can dump it in here and if it behaves. Okay, it's working, it's working. There it is. Look at that. There's our shape. Nice. Very small because I designed this pretty big. But we are going to put this where it needs to be so that we can get an idea of what our ride truck will look like. Holy crap, that worked. To give people context before we jump, Mega 64 every year for Martin Luther King Week does a special week-long stream. And last year they did a piece called The Room, which featured the guy that they jokingly refer to as the main guy, Rocco Bodie, being trapped in a room for the week. And you get to mess with him by sending sounds and making things happen in the room with bit alerts and what have you. Physical things happen in the room to mess with him. And it's a great time. It's very cool. It's a great concept for a stream. Super fun. And we are absolutely going to raid them and join in on the good times. All right, let's get the sizing on this just right here. Wow, I got it pretty close, just guessing. Now this doesn't have to, when I print the one I made, it doesn't have to be resized because, oh, we can go wider because the one I made is for a different vehicle. This is just a model of a monster truck that I made that's kind of randomly sized. All right, let's shrink this back down to like there. Let's see, how's that? Is that in? No, we got to go in just a hair more. Boom, and there it is. Look at that. You guys, come on. We can probably go a little bit shorter on this. It looks like we need to come back just a little. We're just bumping into that. Ah, yes. Big success. We're going to change the color of this for the sake of visuals here because we need detail. Yeah, look at that. Come on. Our ride truck where you can see all the way to the floor in the bed. Oh man. That is looking slick, you guys. Heck yeah, let's go. I'm exceedingly happy with how this has turned out. Yeah, a lot of nifty little design things we did here. I'm glad that you all in the chat were able to kind of push me to try a few things. Like if I was doing this on my own, just sitting around, I might not have done all the little detail work. I might not have resized the little parts in those seats. I might not have added the padding here. I can be a little bit lazy when it's me by myself. But when I'm sitting here working with you all and kind of showing how some of this stuff works, it really drives me to try a few different things. So it's very very cool the way that that works. A symbiotic relationship, if ever there was one. Um, yeah, man. Do we like that height for the picture? Is that looking good? If I do my screenshot looking like that, is that looking all right? I think it looks pretty good. All right. And with that, we are going to call it a stream. I threaten this every week. I may throw a spare stream in over the weekend, depending on what's going on, because I do want to design the snow plow. Um, but we are going to be back here Friday. Friday, special start time, 9 p.m. this Friday. We're going to be doing retro monster truck watch along. We're going to watch some old school monster trucks for a couple hours here on the stream, hanging out and reveling in all that is the aesthetic of 80s and 90s and maybe even the early 2000s monster trucks. I'm gonna find a bunch of cool clips to share with you all, full episodes of racing. We might watch some old tractor pull footage. We might watch some old mud bog footage. Maybe, just maybe, if I can find something just right, we might watch some swamp buggy racing. There's all kinds of great stuff for us to check out. We've only done one of those watch alongs before. It was a blast, and I'm looking forward to doing it again. So I will see you all 9 p.m. on Friday. Thank you so much for hanging out. Right now, though, we are going to raid Mega 64 as they are doing The Room. Rocco Bodie trapped in a room in their studio. Uh, and it's so much fun. Get in there. It helps people find my channel. Get in there. Throw some of my emotes in the chat. Spam them with some Perry emotes. It definitely helps. They definitely notice, and the people watching definitely notice. So I will see you all over there. Thank you so much for hanging out, and I will see you all Friday at 9 p.m. for Retro Monster Truck Watch Along. It's the best. We don't do it often, but when we do, it's a great time. I will see you all then, and I will see you over in the chat on Mega 64 right now.